Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. Finally, we did it. We are recording on Wednesday and I'm already knee deep in today's books. That's right, I'm already reading into a lot of stuff. Rebirth is officially kicked off. Not with this episode, but it kicked off today. So the good news is we will be ready probably by next week to give you guys our review back on Monday again.
Well, let's see how many indies we got.
This is true. We are going to be making a lot of cuts in the coming months and there was a ridiculous announcement that I think is going to cut our reading more than in half. And we'll talk about that on Dark Avenger Live. So if you're around on Friday night, 10:05 Eastern Standard Time, we will be talking about said news.
Oh, we will. Yeah.
I'll make a mention of it in the weekly comic book call as soon as we get our books. But there is something else going on Friday, and I just want to throw it out there because I didn't throw it out during the weekly comic book call. This Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be moderating my good friend Jeremy's live show. He will be interviewing none other than Patrick Shand. And it's going to be all about Robin Hood, all about Patrick Shand's upcoming works. And I'm really excited. I'm really honored that Jeremy had asked me to moderate. I'm going to have a lot of fun. So we're going to have a nice hour and a half. It's a nice little pre-show. So if you guys want, go over to Jeremy's channel, which is Mr. J's Comic Reviews. And we'll be there. Pat will be there, and we'll have a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Maybe if he's in the background, he'll be like, Brad, I love you.
Well, I work until 7, so I might be home like around 7:15, 7:30.
He'll be like, Pat, I love you. So that's good.
Well, it was his birthday just a day or two ago.
That's right. Happy birthday, Mr. Patrick Shand.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's not waste any time. We want to give you guys these books so we can get them done and get moving forward.
Yes, and these books were released on May 18, 2016.
The third week or second week?
Third week.
Third week of
It must
May.
be the third week, yes.
Must be.
And we will start with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Digital's first, as always.
As always, Digital.
Season 10, issue number 27.
Man, Buffy is such a spoiled woman, I swear. It's her fault. She's blaming everybody else for what's going on now with the Spirit of Vengeance, who has the book, the Vampirix. And basically, it's her fault. She was entrusted with the book, and she never used it. She never took advantage of having the book, and she always wanted somebody else to do something with the book, but she never did. And now she's trying to find a way to save her sister, trying to find the Vampirix and stop whatever that guy's name is, and everything's going south. Avery, something really bad happens with Avery in this book, and something really bad happens between Buffy and Spike in this book. Mm-hmm. Man, this season is really building up to a big finale with Buffy. I can't wait to see where they continue forward in season 11.
Alright, Independence Day, issue number 3. I found out that's issue number 3.
High impact action in this one. They go back to the ship, more aliens attack, but this time they don't make it away from the ship without bringing something back with them. This is a very dialogue heavy book. As Independence Day, the movie comes closer and closer. I don't know, I'm going to stick with this series a bit longer, but this might be one of those series that I end up putting in a pleasure read. More than a comic book review read, because I'm enjoying reading it, yes, but I know not too many people are going to be reading this comic unless you are into comics and looking forward to Independence Day like myself. So, again, honorable mentions will still happen from time to time.
And last book for you, Usagi Yojimbo, issue number 154.
Which, again, this is my honorable mention. This is a guilty pleasure. I haven't finished reading it yet, but man, the artwork, the story, Usagi Yojimbo is such a good book. I love it. I can't understand why nobody would want to at least try it. He's guested on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a really great book. Really great series. I really enjoy it. I'd love to get like one of those compendiums at some point. I'd love to meet the writer of the stories at some point because it's a really great series. But moving on.
Alright. And this is a Xenoscope comic that is from Patrick Shand, actually, which is Hellchild, issue number 3 of 5. This book was really amazing. Like, I'm telling you, Hellchild, I have to admit, though, Hades was a little bit of a jerk in this book. But I can understand because he's going through, the fact that his daughter, Angelica, is now this whole demon thing, or like a vampire or something. And then there's this group of people that want to take her in, and they actually kidnap her instead of giving her an offer or something. And Hades is mad at Marion because of all that, because he thinks that's her fault for all what she did, and then she's like saying, I don't want you to do no more for me, just, I was saying like, wow, he's a jerk, but then I understood why he did that, like I said before, and the whole thing of what happened at the end of the book was even something else, actually. Inferno Resurrection, issue number 3 of 5. Wow, this book was another great book from Zenoscope, where Mercy's still trying to find Ruin, the devil, and she's going around just trying to find out, where they are and stuff like that. And there's all these demons that are in this book as well. And I can't remember what that guy was that brought back to life. He actually wants to help her out with this whole investigation. But that's really what the whole book's really about. Just trying to find Ruin the devil. So that way she could bring him back to the Inferno. And there's also another guy in this book that has a little close-up with Lucifer. And it was great artwork too, both these books. This is going to be a little bit of an honorable mention. Lords of the Jungle featuring Tarzan and Sheena, issue number 3. Now, I don't think I remember reviewing issue number 2.
I don't think I remember you reviewing issue number 2 either. I remember Sheena showing up at the end of the book, or Tarzan showing up at the end of the book.
Well, that was the first issue.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. But this one is basically Sheena's trying to explain to Tarzan, she accidentally fell in Tarzan's universe from that portal. Remember that? And thinking that he was dead, Tarzan was actually unconscious, and we get a little bit of backstory where he's like saying, Jane, like, where's Jane, where am I, what is this, and he goes a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs until he finds out where he is and stuff like that. But I don't know, I mean, they meet up then with this person who knows about Sheena a little bit. I'll look at the next one, see if it's good. If not, I'll just skip it, because I don't really know about that. This was really interesting from Valiant. 4001 AD of Rai, or was it Ray?
Rai.
Rai, issue number 13. And it really talks about the origin story of Rai, where he was to inspire New Japan, because there was no one else that wanted to do it for Father. So he found him and came upon him, and he was the person that can have weaponry. And there were the people who wanted to destroy him, but he's like saying, don't make me do this to use all my weapons. And sure enough, he does it. But it's for New Japan. See, this is what I like about 4001 AD. It all focuses on New Japan and about Father, how he has these mind controls of everybody. And I think it's going to be an all-out war or something, because it's getting really intense. And I really enjoyed this issue. Also, Wrath of the Eternal Warrior, issue number 7, was really all about Eternal Warrior, like Tarzan in the book, trying to find out where he was. And he's going through all these obstacles, and there's the scientist who made a labyrinth maze for the Eternal Warrior. And he has to go through so much stuff, and boy, the outcome of it does not look good for the Eternal Warrior. Because that's what the whole book's about. They're trying to check his blood, if his heart rate's normal, just to see if he's normal or hero. So, with that, I got it. Okay. So with the hammer he has and everything, I think that he's a hero. But man, just the labyrinth was really brutal. And this was my other favorite from Valiant. Manowar. This is the 2016 annual. This is issue number 1, or a one-shot, actually. And I did discuss this on Comic Frontline. It's basically a story about Arak when he was a child, with the Romans that invaded his homeland after they gave the prologue story of the origin of him. And it was just really just them trying to escape the Romans, but the Romans took over their home and have to find a new home. The other story was focusing on Lady Colonel capture, and that was a real great story. And even Commander Trill was in the third story. And the more I hear about him, it actually focuses on the next issue of Man of War, which was the... I can't remember what their names were. They're like these shadowy people, which was in the other issue. I think the Tormentors? Something like that. Red Sonja, issue number 5. Now, in this...
hit the screen.
Oh, oops. Sorry about that. Red Sonja, issue number 5. This book was a little bit okay. It was more focused on... the king wants to take... He wants to be with Red Sonja, so this girl who's an actress that we saw in the last issue, he wants her to make a play about everyone looking like Red Sonja. Seriously, this guy is nuts. I think all these books I read this week, these people are nuts. going for the redhead known as Red Sonja and play her story. Where long and behold, she comes in as the real Red Sonja and shows who's boss.
Wow.
So I can't wait to see what the outcome's gonna be for the next issue. Really something else. Xena Warrior Princess issue number 2. It looks like a while since I've read Xena actually. And to make this short, what they're focused on is to try to find Chelpa, who is the queen, because the queen abandoned them like 20 somewhat years ago. So they're just going on their adventures to try to look for her. And Xena with this other person, the one that she's teamed up with, I don't remember what her name was. I think it was Midland. No, not Midland. Midyadian or whatever. Start with the letter M. And they work together to try to find out where this Chalpa is. It's really adventures to look for the queen.
Mm.
So in the next issue, it looks like they're going to go through more than they thought that they would. And last one before we go into the big 2, Tomb Raider issue number 4. The search.
3 heroines back to back: Red Sonja, Xena, and Tomb Raider.
Yeah. And this one is just them looking for the mushroom thing, and we find out more information about the mushroom and what their plans are to go about it. And of course, she survived the whole drowning thing, like from last issue, because we knew she was going to survive.
Well, of course, she can't die.
She can't. She's Lara Croft. Come on. And
when she has a daughter, she can die. That's when you got to worry.
Well, yeah, but I don't think she's going to have a daughter anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think she's going to have a boyfriend anytime soon. Better be careful. The LGB whatever might say she needs a girlfriend.
I don't know, but all in all,
I can
really
see that though. I could see Lara Croft with a girlfriend.
Yeah, but it's really adventurous. I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to definitely read the book. And if you're a Tomb Raider fan like I am for video games and comics, you'll love this book. Okay, now we're going into the big 2. Going back to you, Robin,
Son of Batman, issue number 12.
Okay.
Man, I saw the previews for this and it was so misleading. I thought that Maya died and I was so upset when I saw the previews. The good news is Maya didn't die in this issue. She was shot with an arrow. And it was up to Damien to fight the little prince. And he tries to save him. He really does. He doesn't try to kill him. He actually is trying to save him because he can't control the power that is to befall him. And in the end, it becomes a fight. Damien, of course, wins. And now, I thought this was going to be the last issue. Apparently, there's one more issue before, obviously, the series ends. So I guess in June, we're going to get issue 13. But there are a few series that are actually going into June anyway. So
yeah.
Everything, I guess, is wrapping up within the next month or two. I know Justice League of America is going to be wrapping. It's going to take a while. This book, Justice League of America, has been delayed forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's still, I think, 1 or 2 issues of Justice League of America and an annual.
We'll see.
Which were,
the annual.
They were supposed to come out in June, and I got an email from DCBS that the publisher canceled it, and it's not put in for July. Wow. So I'm wondering if they're pushing it, or if they're just canceling it completely.
Well, we'll find out. Titans Hunt issue number 8.
This was a huge issue. Titans versus Twister, that was nothing compared to the ending, where they start to remember things. It's like, why do I feel like we've done this before? And then Dick comes to the realization, wait a minute, there were 10 of us. But even with Dub's replacement, we're only 9. Who is the 10th member? And the issue ends with a yellow lightning bolt in the sky. Does that... I could say it now because Rebirth's officially out, but does that not give the biggest teaser to what's coming? This is a really great miniseries. I enjoyed it. I feel like they wrapped it up really quickly. And before that, it was very slow-paced. But in the end, this series delivered. I definitely would love to get this in trade paperback format when it comes out.
Alright, Hanna-Barbera's Future Quest.
Oh, man.
Issue number 1.
This was... What do
you mean me?
I'm disappointed. It opened up with the origin of Space Ghost. How he became... how he got the gauntlets.
Alright, well, I can still read it.
You can. Yeah. And then the rest of the book is about Johnny Quest. And there's so much that goes on in this book. I don't want to spoil it because you got to read it. I want him to read it, so I'm not going to give too much. But there's a lot of stuff that happens Birdman shows up in the book as well. And then Space Ghost himself shows up on the last page in an epic, whoa, kind of to be continued. This was such a great book, and you get little indications of the other Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and they're going to definitely spotlight this. It's like a Crisis on Infinite Hanna-Barbera or something. I'm really looking forward to this what do you call it, series.
All New Wolverine issue number 8.
As I mentioned, moved to a digital format. Now, between this book and the next book, I know the next book, this book possibly, this book has gone into Civil War now. S.H.I.E.L.D. ends up taking this chest into possession, but a lot of agents go missing, so they enlist Wolverine, a.k.a. Laura, to help them. And Maria Hill mentions that they did send somebody before Laura to find it, and it was Old Man Logan, and he disappeared. And now she basically wants Laura to find out where everybody went and what the chest is about. And the chest gets opened again, and it turns out the people aren't disappearing into the chest. The chest actually calls to something, and we get to see Bing Bang Boom.
Mm-hmm.
And Laura found Old Man Logan, and I think I know where Laura found Old Man Logan. And all we see is her jumping into the mouth of Bing Bang Boom. To be continued. I feel like I have something in my eye, but I don't. So, this story, I'm going to stick with it. This is somehow connected to Civil War.
Of course.
It says it on the cover that it's connected to Civil War.
Yeah, it's the road to Civil War, too.
Oh, it's the road. I'm sorry. It's the road to Civil War. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. However, this book, Old Man Logan...
Speaking of Old Man Logan, issue number 6...
I really honestly think I'm done with the series. Logan knows where he is now. This isn't like a backstory to Logan at all anymore. He knows he's in a different time, in a different universe, and in the past. He's chasing after this little girl that ended up being his future's wife in his old dimension, which kind of makes this book creepy. The artwork's it's dark. The story itself, I feel like a lot of cuts are being made, and I think Old Man Logan how do I explain this without really... After the reveal, after he figured out he's in the wrong universe and in the past, it took away the edge to the book, and now I don't have any urge. After reading this issue, I'm not feeling Old Man Logan anymore. So for now... I'm probably still going to have it in my collection to read, but I think that I'm letting it go from reviews because I'm not feeling it as much as I was in the first story arc. So this is one of the books that's definitely going. All New Wolverine, we'll see where this story arc ends, but this one might be another drop. And there's going to be a lot of stuff, and especially after the announcement Marvel made this week, I have a very bad feeling about things.
Even thinking about it, I can't.
Yeah, I have a very bad feeling, and this is not... just to be partial to DC and Indies, but I have a very, very strong feeling that our Marvel pile, while it's small now, it's going to be even smaller come this fall.
Smaller?
Smaller.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Go.
Okay, next issue. The Uncanny Avengers issue number 9.
I'm only giving this an honorable mention because Hank Pym returns. Hank Pym, a.k.a. the man who fused with Ultron in that graphic novel.
Yeah, I remember.
So, this is a really big issue. I would definitely recommend checking it out. I might actually start reading... I was not even casually reading Uncanny Avengers anymore. I might start reading it again, and if I really want to talk about it, I'll definitely bring it back on the reviews. But this is probably going to be the only Avenger book I'm reading, because All New, All Different is starting to really slow burn for me. I'll probably end up dropping that soon, and this will probably be the only one that's left after... what happens with Civil War. I don't even know what Civil War anymore because of what it's leading to. But anyway, go ahead, Mike. Your turn.
Yeah, my turn. Just 4 books. Deadpool, The Mercs for Money, issue number 4. I looked at myself afterwards and I just said, why, Mike? Why did you read this book?
So you're dropping it?
I can't take this anymore.
So he's dropping it.
I don't even want to review it because...
All right, don't!
And then the Last Days... I was just going to say there was also another Deadpool, Last Days of Magic, which I do know it came out. There are too many Deadpool titles.
They're doing it again. They're doing it again. They did this They did do this. Remember when they OD'd on Deadpool and everybody got sick of it? The Deadpool core, the Deadpool this, that, and the other thing.
And stuff.
Right. No, the Versus was a miniseries. But beside the point,
yeah.
The Deadpool team-ups.
I can't.
They're doing it again.
I can't.
You guys are doing it again because the movie was good, and you're ODing on Deadpool again. There's miniseries, there's Deadpool and Spider-Man, there's Deadpool Mercs for money.
And now Last Days of Magic.
And there's a bunch of other things coming.
No,
Guys, Marvel, don't do this again. You killed Wolverine because you OD'd on him too much. You pulled back on Deadpool just in time. Don't push him back in front again just because his movie sold.
But going to a much better book, which was my book of the week, Powerman and Iron Fist, issue number 4. We find out that both Powerman and Iron Fist have to work together to get the Super Soul Stone away from Jenny. And the only way to get it, from what we saw her in the last issue, is the strength of power. And Black Mariah, thinking that she was a bad chick, she really wasn't. I was really surprised to know she was actually a good influence to Jenny, because she really didn't look like she was a good influence. So because of her, she, just long story short, all the fighting action, stuff like that, they receive back the Super Soul Stone, they bring it back to the Senior Magician, that was his name. And now they're officially working as a team. So now we're going to see what the next issue is going to bring for us, but it really was awesome. Spider-Woman, issue number 7, continuing on with the Spider-Woman, and then the next issue we conclude with Omega. And in this book was really Jessica just seeing this guy who was at her house, that they were known to be like cousins, but they're really not. They're actually something different. He was actually the guy behind the whole trans-dimensional watch that belonged to Spider-Gwen, which he does make an appearance in this issue. And I don't know, like, it's like she wants to help or not, I really don't know, because of her powers being lost. She's kind of a little standoffish, kind of. Like, I don't know, maybe if it's just me or something, but really great back and forth. And even with the baby now, with Spider-Woman just saying that one sec, saying, can you just give me a minute, we'll get back to our fight so she can take care of the baby. It was a really great book. I can't wait to see how it's going to conclude in Omega. And lastly, Spidey, issue number 6, a classic read and a really amazing book as well. Spider-Man is going up against the Vulture with the help of Iron Man. But see, here's the thing, though, I found weird with this book. See, Iron Man thinks that Spider-Man's a menace, and he uses his Tony Stark as another person, like saying, I know Tony Stark. I thought he revealed that he was Iron Man.
He did, but not in the past. Originally, they thought Tony Stark and Iron Man were two different people. He didn't reveal himself yet.
Alright, well, really, to know that Spider-Man was a menace, Vulture had the Stark briefcase and stuff like that. So, I can put this away now. So with that, they had to go after Vulture, and it was a really fun-filled adventure. I felt bad, though, when he asked not Spider-Gwen, when he was going to ask Gwen to the dance, but the day after he found out that she was already taken.
She's going to be taken by something else in the future.
Yeah, and please do not mention that again like you did on the live show. She found limited issue number 6. There are no neck breaks in this one, I'll tell you that much. But anyway, damn it, Chris. So in this issue we get 2 stories.
I can make fun because Spider-Gwen is alive now.
Yeah, you could. So this book was about Ryu training with Oru, and how he's getting strong as he's training. Meanwhile, we have Gil, who's mentioning about a tournament. Now, I feel like we've seen this somewhere before, about all these tournaments. We have Blanca, who appears in this issue, and I really enjoyed the artwork in this book. Get down further, I see. The artwork was really drawn amazing in this one. And now that they're in the tournament, they're just going to see what all this is about. And the next second story was Dan. I mean, the cocky Dan with Sakura, and Blanca also makes an appearance. And he's just like saying, I never felt so energized after he hugged Blanca and got electrocuted. Really great book. I really enjoy Street Fighter, and Street Fighter XGI Joe, I believe, is this coming week.
I believe so.
So I'll be definitely reviewing that here, as well as on Comic Frontline. But really awesome book. It's fun read, actually, as well.
Spawn issue 263. Al is back on Earth, except he has no powers anymore. He's completely and utterly, as the comic cover says, human. And he has to fulfill his promise he made to Wanda, which was to protect her ex-husband. So now we find him trying to figure out what he's going to do, because now he doesn't have his powers anymore. I mean, we get a little bit of a flashback of him when he had his powers, but now he's like, well, what do I do next? And by the end of the issue, we find out basically that Al Simmons is going back as Spawn, regardless whether he's human or not. This was a very good setup for the next chapter in Spawn's life. I love the artwork. I love Eric.
I'm just glad they got rid of
Eric
the teeth
Larson's
thing.
Artwork is awesome.
The venom
I'm
thing.
very glad they got rid of the teeth.
I
thing.
can't forget about it.
I'm surprised that this was black and white. I wonder if I got a variant by mistake. Like if I ordered a cover B or something. Maybe I did. Do they say in the front? No, they don't. I'm just curious if I actually got cover B or something. It just says no. It just says the numbers.
Well, it is a unique cover. In
Oh,
black
I
and
like
white.
it. I'm not complaining. It's a really nice cover and it's a really nice comic. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what happens next in Spawn. Spawn. This is a perfect jumping on point, by the way, everybody, because he's finally finished the Hell arc. We finished the return of Al Simmons, so now it's just continuing story, the story of Al Simmons and Spawn. If you are ready to jump on, start with this issue. You get a perfect recap at the very beginning of the book, and it just continues on from there. So if you wanted to jump back on Spawn but didn't know when and where, if you didn't do it when Al returned, you can do it right now with issue 263, and you should, because this is going to be a very interesting chapter in Spawn's career and in the Spawn comic book.
The Random Futurama Comics, issue number 79. The cover says it all. And what's interesting about this book, and I think you'll like this one, like, there's a death that's going on by Kif. Like, he's like saying, I'm dying because of, what happened. Like, they gave him the results from his physical. That he has 5 days left to live. And so, as the days are going by, Kif gets a little bit cranky. Oh, and we have Bender having a little fun time with the little vacuum cleaner thingy, and that's like really a funny story.
Roadrunner and Coyote.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. It's kind of like that, really. And I felt that when I read this. And then they have a little party for Kif. Oh, by the way, there's artwork. Forgot to show you guys. They like drew a party for Kif, and he's like saying, I want it to be special, and then he just becomes a real like jerk. Even Zap Brannigan like said like all this is terrible. I don't even want you at my funeral and everything. It's like saying, wow, dude, that was really harsh and everything, and for that. And then we have the Beatles to perform in mass in Cube Garden instead of Square Garden.
You know how many times you've done that through this entire comic book since you've been reviewing it?
What do you mean?
Nothing. Keep going.
No, they're just saying the references and all that stuff. And actually, I found out that Kif isn't actually dying. It was actually just a medicine that was just a sudden shock. So basically, he's just going to be fine. It was just a little exploding to the head to make him go back to normal. Now, what is your complaint?
No complaint. I think this book is awesome. I enjoy it.
No, I just said Madison Cube Garden.
Yeah, but you've said it before. You've read this book before, and you've
did?
mentioned Madison Cube Garden exactly the same way. You've done it several times.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know you don't. It's so funny.
Because Futurama. How long is it since they come out with another issue? I mean, I don't remember everything.
I think I'm doing the rest through.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's only 2.
Invincible 128.
I'm so sorry. There was Martian Manhunter issue number 12, which I did read, but I didn't have in this review. It was the last issue, and it was a really good book for once.
Yeah.
The last issue. They stopped Mars, and now that's really the end of the book. The end.
Mark spends some really important father-daughter time with his daughter. There's a really heartfelt talk between him and Eve about her dating somebody and then recently breaking up with them because things weren't working out. It was just really great. And then you see that Alan is there's a lot on Alan's mind with Tarkin, and he wants to handle that. Then he gets called to the Senate. The Senate doesn't believe he's fit to lead anymore. Things happen that I don't want to spoil, and I love it. They finally mentioned Earth, and Mark's like, I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure everything's fine. And then we get that last page, and it doesn't look like everything's fine on Earth. And if you want to know what I'm seeing, you just gotta read this book for yourself. I'll show you guys some artwork in the middle of the book, but if you want to see that ending, You gotta buy this book and you gotta read it for yourself. But I have a feeling.
What's the back? I said something about Walking Dead from Robert Kirkman. Oh.
Yeah, The Outcast. This was a really great book this week. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to what's happening next. Obviously, Mark's going to go back to Earth soon. Probably he's going to deal with Tarkin, or maybe Tarkin will go to Earth, or he is at Earth already. Maybe that's what those ships, or what's going on Earth, and I'm completely obliviously dumb. But beside the point, I'm sure that eventually Mark's going to go back to Earth. Let's put it that way. Spider-Man issue number 4. This book kind of... We just had the grandmother issue, so I agree with Mike Spider-Slayer that we didn't need another Talking Heads issue. This one, Gank is trying, he wants to be best, becomes friends with Gold Balls. Gold Balls walks over because he accidentally hits them with a gold ball, and Gank's like, dude, tell him the truth. Tell him you're Spider-Man. And it's like, he's joking, don't listen to him. He's like, no, dude, trust me, he's good, he's a superhero. And Gank basically throws out the, what do you call it, the truth, and Miles gets really pissed off and walks off. And I don't like that Gank is so reckless with Miles' identity. Even if it's a superhero, who cares? Why are you going to tell Gold Balls that? And apparently Gold Balls is going to be one of their roommates. Mm-hmm. So then the rest of the issue is him being chased by heat-seeking missiles, and then we get to see the person on the cover for the last page, and that's Hammerhead, saying that he's going to bring Spider-Man to Black Cat. To be continued. That's
the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. That he's going to bring Miles to Black Cat.
So that'll be fun.
It will indeed. I don't know. It was an okay issue. I just feel like there could have been more. I was expecting more. Sinestro 23, last issue. Sinestro Corps versus the Red Lantern Corps. And we had a defect from the Sinestro Corps into the Red Lantern Corps. I'm not going to spoil what, but I love how Saranic led the Yellow Lanterns, and basically the Red Lanterns had a weapon, and basically they tricked the Red Lanterns into showing them the weapon. They ended up taking the weapon. They're using the weapon to keep the to terraform the planet that the Corrigarians are on, to basically give them a new planet, and they do. Sinestro succeeds in his mission, but however, there's something else going on. Apparently, he's doing all this to prevent something from coming, and it turns out that it's still coming. So he, in his weakened state, tells Lisa, I need to attend to stuff below. So it looks like we're going to be seeing Sinestro rebonding with Parallax again to regain some of his strength. And Sinestro's over, everybody. This was the last issue of Sinestro. Next time we see Sinestro, will either be in one of two places: Green Lantern Corps or Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns. There's no more Sinestro. I'm sad to see this series go. It was a really great... Out of all the Lantern books outside of the Green Lantern series, this was one of the stronger ones. The Larfleeze series did not fly at all. I was hoping for a Blue Lantern series, maybe in the future.
I would read that if it's Blue Lantern.
But this was a really good series. I would definitely recommend Sinestro. Continuing along with the final days of Superman, Superman Wonder Woman issue 29. Superman is...
The seventh thing.
Part 7 of 8. Yeah, now I read Superman 52, so let me remind myself of... Yeah, Superman is fighting the energy being who basically wants to... who basically just outed the old DC Universe Superman in the last issue, which we do get to see the old DCU Superman showing Lois and John his Fortress of Solitude, and Lois kind of gets a little upset because she's like, why didn't you never told me you made your own fortress? And he's like, well, I figured this would be a, just in case kind of thing. And you just got Wonder Woman and Superman still fighting against this this guy who thinks that he's Superman. He depowers long enough to see that it's not you. He depowers long enough to see that it's not really Superman. But then he wakes back up and he starts beating up Superman again. Supergirl sees that she's needed, so she leaves early. She's not fully powered yet, but she doesn't care, and she's off to aid her cousin. And it says to be concluded in Superman 52, which I've read. If you would like an advanced review, it's not advanced, it's out now, but if you'd like to hear my review of Superman 52 early, before I review it here on the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review, I reviewed it over on comicfrontline.com today, Wednesday, and it's up right now if you'd like to hear my thoughts on the final parts of the final days of Superman. And that's kind of why I'm a little bit, I had to go back into this book to remember, because the whole story is now connected. Peter J. Tomasi, did a really great job with this series, continuing to make us care more and more for Superman. And that last issue, man, wait till you guys hear my thoughts on that. Civil War 2, issue 0.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh.
We will be getting Civil War 2. Now, I'm biting my tongue because the announcement about what's coming later on in the year for Marvel is something we would talk about for next week's books. This review would have been out already before finding out the news. So I'm trying to hold back from talking about the news. Because after reading this issue last week, we didn't know where Marvel was going after Civil War. We have a very, very good idea where they're going after Civil War now. But anyway, this book opens up. It shows Luke Cage being, Power Man. It shows She-Hulk back in the courtroom, which I like that a lot. We had a scene with Doc Samson and Captain Marvel. We got to see a day in the life of Rhodey, and Rhodey actually wants to run for president, which I think would be really cool because if he did, we might get Iron Patriot back. Ohio gets hit with the Terrigen Mist, and 2 of the students end up cocooned, so 2 of them are going to become Inhumans. Like I mentioned about Captain Marvel and Doc Samson, where everybody's starting to worry about Captain Marvel because she's trying to figure out a way to, she's creating a project where they'll be able to predict people who do bad things before it happens. We got a little piece with She-Hulk again, which is really awesome. And with Maria Hill, there was some really crazy stuff that happened there. I don't want to spoil that. But then the book kind of ends with these 2 people coming out of their cocoon, and one person, it looks like he foresees something, and it says to be continued in Civil War, issue number 1. Now, we did not get the physical copy of Civil War 2 for Free Comic Book Day, but we did get it digitally. So we didn't get the actual physical copy, but we did get it digitally. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to possibly read it soon. And this is looking to be an interesting event. I say interesting, and I'm leaving it at that.
And let's just hope that they don't do what they did with Secret Wars with the...
I'm not happy, and this is why, again, I'm telling you guys, when it comes to Marvel, the only book I'm going to be reviewing that's Civil War related is Civil War. I'm not getting the sister book. I'm not reading the Kingpin book anymore. I'm not reading anything except Civil War and whatever book that I'm already reading. And if it connects to Civil War, we'll see if I'll continue reading it, or maybe I'll skip it until Civil War is over. I don't know what we're doing, but man, I don't know where Marvel, we'll get to them. Dark Avenger Live, this Friday, 10:05, we will talk. Wonder Woman 52, Meredith Finch gave Wonder Woman an epic farewell. This brought the entire story full circle. Athena ended up betraying Wonder Woman again. It turned out that Hecate might have actually been... Well, both of them were wrong, but Hecate meant the best in all of... Hecate wanted to bring Zeus back the most. In the end, though, Wonder Woman did save Zeke, but she actually ended up sacrificing... I loved her showing up in her God of War suit. I'm kind of sad that David Finch didn't do the artwork for this final book. I'm kind of a little upset about that.
I didn't see his name in the front book.
But maybe David's doing another book. We don't know. But anyway, in the end, Wonder Woman sacrifices herself to save Zeke, but it looks like Zeke disappears because Zeke, as we all know, is the reincarnation of Zeus. So Zeus is back. And we get a little bit of a recap of what's going on, and then the last page where Wonder Woman and Zola are both mourning the loss of Zeke, and you just see the baby blanket float off into the sunset, and that was there were so many feels to that last page that it was sad. It was really, really sad. I mean, as you guys know, I didn't read the Burbaker run, but when Meredith Finch came on this book, I started reading it. I did try the first couple of issues, and then my ex-girlfriend tried an issue. Then my current girlfriend tried an issue, and neither one of them liked it. I didn't like it, but when Meredith came on, the book just sprang to life. I'm looking forward to Greg Rucka's run during DC Rebirth, but I'm going to...
the Punisher? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he might...
But I really am going to miss Meredith Finch. She did an amazing job. Meredith Finch, thank you so much for an amazing, amazing adventure in Wonder Woman, and I look forward to hearing what book you're doing next. Hopefully I don't sound stupid and it was already announced. I don't believe it was announced already, but I've been MIA from the internet a lot lately because I've got lots and lots going on. I'm trying to finish what I'm doing so this way I can come back online more, and it's just taking a lot of time. Hopefully by the end of June, everything will be squared away and we'll be okay again. Superman American Alien issue number 7. This was an excellent book. Max Landish, thank you so much. In a time where Superman was not enjoyable for me, in the least, from DC Comics in the New 52, you gave me an amazing miniseries to enjoy. Clark and Lois are dating in this book. Lobo ends up attacking, and you get an epic fight between Superman and Lobo, which I really enjoyed. The artwork was a bit sketchy. That's my only complaint, is that I really was not a fan of the artwork. I wanted this book.
That Lobo exists.
No, it's not the New 52 Lobo.
Oh, it's the current one?
The old DC
logo.
Oh,
thank goodness.
So I kind of... The only thing I didn't like was Superman said he was going to take Lobo's bike and stick it where the sun doesn't shine.
This is the thing. How many times do you have to have Superman and Lobo fight each other? It's been like
this is supposed to be at the beginning of Superman's career.
Yeah, but we've already...
Doesn't matter. I'm fine with it. I don't mind him fighting
No,
Lobo.
I'm not saying that it's like, I felt, it's a little repetitious.
This felt like a Superman book because you have Martha and Jonathan watching at home in Smallville, which we haven't seen in so many years, and I missed that. I missed in the 90s and in the early 2000s, whenever Superman got into a big major battle, the writers always made sure to put a page in or a panel or something, and I'm going to try to find a page to show you guys where it shows the Kents. Well, that's one, but I wanted to get a better one. I wanted to get like that full, where the Kents are watching at home and Lois is somewhere else, which Lois in this case was in a helicopter watching, and Lex was watching from Lex Tower, of course. This felt so much like the old DC Universe Superman. I wanted to cry when I saw that this was the end. It was so good, and in the end, Superman just chucks Lobo into space, and that's it. And then the ending with Clark and Lois, where Lois finally says back to Clark, I love you, so where do we go from here? And it's like the end. And I'm like, oh, no. It's like, no, I wanted more. I want American Alien to be an ongoing series. I want, even though it's not the new DCU Superman, Rebirth Superman, it's Max Landish's version of Superman, I wouldn't mind an ongoing series in a different universe. Or just this series ongoing. It doesn't matter if it's in a universe or not. I was enjoying it. I loved it, and I'm sad to see it go because I thought this was really amazingly done. If you did not read Superman American Alien, the trade paperback will be coming out in a month. I would definitely, 1,000% recommend checking out Superman American Alien. Max Landish did an amazing job writing it. There were some artists I didn't like, a lot of artists I did like. So out of 7 issues, if 2 books I didn't like their artwork, that was a lot. The rest I really enjoyed. So again, American Alien, it's an amazing book, and I really enjoyed it. And it's going to be sad to see Max Landish go. Maybe we'll see him again.
And now we enter the rebirth of DC.
That's right. Next week, we are praying.
It's really great that they're doing Rebirth because not only have I read the New 52 now, get to see a little bit of what
you're going to see. Yes, and you're going to see in the next couple of years as Jeff Johns works his magic through Rebirth, we might actually get a lot more of the old DC Universe back, and you'll be weaned into it, whereas I will be recognizing stuff as it's popping up. I don't know what DC has planned. I'm excited. I know what's happening in Rebirth. I'm not going to spoil it in this review because that's supposed to be for next review, but big things are coming, and I'm excited. And hopefully we will have this review for you guys on Monday, even if we have to make a couple of cuts in some indie books. We're going to try to get this review back out to you on Monday, at least. Because already reviews are going up for Rebirth. There is going to be a big review for Rebirth on Comic Frontline, so check that out. I reviewed, like I said, Superman 52, which is a big thing. Mike Spider-Slayer actually did Justice League issue 50, which was another big contributor to reading before Rebirth. So again, check all that stuff out now on Comic Frontline. I will be discussing all of that this coming Monday for Dark Avenger comic book review. Till then, as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Links in the description below to all the sites that I talked about here, sites connected to Dark Avengers C86 and more. And until we see you guys next Monday, Dark Avenger Live this Friday, 10:05 Eastern Standard Time. Jeremy and I Jeremy will be hosting a Google Plus live show interview with Pat Chen, and I will be honored. I will be having the honor, I could talk, of moderating that live show, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you want to come out early at 7 o'clock. We'll be doing it Eastern Standard Time on Jeremy's channel. Till then, take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next video.
Bye, everybody.